Juan Conde, Bachelor of Science, Master's of Science, PhD in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, current medical student at the University of Vermont.
Add to that, a dreamer. Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi shared Juan Conde's story with the House on Wednesday as the battle over DACA continues in Washington. Conde started his journey in the United States as a child.
My mom brought me over, me and my brother. I was 9 years old.
While living life like an American, reminders of his undocumented status were around every corner.
We couldn't get a driver's license. I couldn't drive. So it's tiny things like that make a huge difference.
In college, a major event would shape the rest of his life.
My mom got cancer. It was a very aggressive salivary gland cancer. There was basically very little that it could be done for treatment, and she passed away. So I think that decision pushed me towards, well, I want to be a physician. I want to treat patients.
Conde continued to hit education milestones and says the help of DACA opened new doors for him.
And then things changed. Medical school said, like, well, if you're a DACA applicant, you've been here, you're basically an American. We will look at your application.
With the DACA deadline looming, Conde wants a quick agreement. He hopes to keep dreaming right here in the United States.
All this training of everything to become a physician, become a researcher, the United States should get me as a researcher, not Mexico.
In Burlington, Jennifer Sheehan, NBC5 News.